Good morning, my name is Alexander Rios Camacho, and this is my CO2 Dragster project. First, in the engineering process, we had to come up with ideas and make research. Our whole project was meant for us to make a CO2 powered dragster that is made out of wood. Now my idea was to make something that is small, thin, aerodynamic, and ultimately will win the race. And I was looking at realistic models so that I can have ideas to what I'm going to do my car on. Second thing that we had to do was sketches, our original sketches, and brainstorming. Now as you can see, my sketches that I came up with, this is my ideal body car, what I wanted to create. These are the drawings of the wood pieces that we had, the clear tube, metal rod, screws and washers, the wheels. We had to take a dial caliber and measure out every part and draw it on paper. We had to brainstorm what body type it would be and draw it out of what we wanted to do, and this is what I did right here. Next we had to model parts in Inventor. Now my modeling went really well. This is the modeling that I made of my personal body type. I really liked it, and I had to model out every other piece also. So the clear tube, metal rod, wheels, washer, the eye screw, and I really like how my CO2 cartridge came out also. Assembly. Inventor assembly, actually. Now in Inventor we had to take all the parts that we modeled, put them in one file, and put them together as if to show what it's gonna look like in the very end. And that's me designing my part, or not designing, assembling my part. After the assembly, we had to make an exploded assembly. The exploded assembly is meant to show the part, but with the final part, but exploded out to see where each piece is going to go and how it's going to be assembled. And this is a picture of my assembled part. As you can see, the wheels are pushed out, the metal rod is pushed out, the clear tube is pushed out and everything. And if it were to be pushed all back together, then it would be a completely finished model. Next we have to do the working drawings, taking all the files that we made of the exploded assembly, of our final assembly, of all the pieces that we designed in Inventor. We had to put them together into a big packet of working drawings. We had to put dimensions on them all, a isometric, renders on the front page, and all that good stuff. Now here's more pictures of my parts, the wheels that I designed, a one-to-one picture of the car at the very end. I'll talk more about that later. My CO2 cartridge with dimensions, and finally we had to print them out on 11 by 17 piece of paper and turn it into Mr. West. Next we had to do renders. The renders are to allow us to see a realistic picture of a part and what it will look like when it's finally finished. So these are pictures of my CO2 car and what it would look like with all the properties of the wood, of the plastic, of the metal, with light and shadows and reflections on it, and what it should look like when if it was gonna be done. Next we had to do flow design. Now flow design, it was really fun. It was the first time that I ever done it. It was taking the part that we made and putting it through a computer wind tunnel. Now this is the original body in flow design. As you can see, there's red to show where the drag is mostly. There's drag over here, and I made it with a drag coefficient graph. Mine had really low drag, and I was really happy about that because mine was really light. My original body had little airflow design, allowed more detail and areas of drag to be shown. This I will talk about in the next slide. Now new body adjustments. I made some new body adjustments, but they were not used. I made this tip on the housing for the CO2 canister, It was meant to cut through air to be more aerodynamic, but it was not used because it would add weight to the car that was unnecessary. I wanted to make it as light as possible, and that's why I didn't add this. But if we were supposed to change something, and if I was like had to change something, this is what I would add to it. Next we did styrofoam construction. Now, sadly, I didn't get to finish my styrofoam construction because I took it home. My brother said, "Oh, this looks cool," and snapped it in half. But I realized the steps that I had to go through for my actual building it or cutting it out of the actual wood. I was going to cut the top out first, the top view out first, then cut the side views out first, and then sand. That was my plan of action, and that's what I got from the styrofoam construction. Next, I had to actually do cutting and sanding. I would take the block of wood, and from the experience that I had with the styrofoam, I started cutting everything out. Chopping up the top, chopping off wood from the top, chopping off wood from the side, drilling holes, so I can start having my new body. And this is me with the, this is my car with the saw. This is my car completely cut out before sanding, I think. A little sanding on the top front with the holes in, and completely finished sanding down. It's a very fun process going through it, actually seeing the process of our work in the computer, like actually coming out. I really enjoyed that. Now it was time for painting, taping, and repainting. Now with my part, I really wanted it to have, I wanted it to be white, so I painted it white. I wanted it to have racing stripes, so I taped everything on it besides lines on it, spray painted it red, and I wanted to have racing stripes like so, because I really like those and I like the look of it. Now we had to do actual construction, taking the body that we had and putting all the wheels together that we measured out in before as our first step or second step, measuring it out, and we put it all together, cutting the plastic, taking the body and putting everything together. And thank you for Mr. West for the extra washers. I kind of lost 2 of mine. You saved me there. Now it was the final model. Now that I had put everything together, I had modeled everything, it was time to weigh it. Mine came out to 105 grams. It was light and ready to race, and I was very excited to race. These are my body types. That's it put together with the CO2 cartridge in it. Everything put together, and the racing stripes on it that I really like them. Now, racing day. A very exciting, very stressful time. I didn't know how my car was gonna do. I didn't get to race first day 1, but I got to race second day, and this is my car and Ethan's car. That was my first race, and Mr. West. I was very excited and very nervous. But here's my first race, and I hope you enjoy. I won my very first race, and it made me really happy. I saw that what my car could do, and all the hard work that I put into it. It was a really joyful time for me. Oops. That was my second race, also day 2 of the racing, and here's my second race. And as you can see, I won again, and that was making me really happy. After I won both of those races, I was able to move forward to the championship race against Daniela with her car, me with my car. That's Daniela's car, that's my car, for the whole championship. All the money. I don't know if you can see, but in the end, there's a sensor, and the light on the right started blinking, so that meant that my car won. I was able to win the championship, of the races. I won the first place medal, the drawing. My car was very happy. Honestly, I thought one of my wheels was going to fall off because it was shaking a little too much. It made me a little scared. This is the bracket, as here was first day races. I didn't get to go first day. This was me against Ethan, and I won. Then I went me against Brian, and semifinals, I guess. Then the championship, me against Daniela, and I came out on top. Yay. And me with a 3D printed medal and my race car being happy. Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun with this project. It was my last project in high school of my engineering career. I had lots of fun. Thank you to Mr. West for